Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Live Life with Jay. I'm Jay, and we have a special guest today.
All right, so let's do it.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Live Life with Jay. I am so excited. I am interviewing one of my good friends who I love very much. And she is going to talk to us more about business financials. So before we get started, I want to introduce her. Her name is Charlotte Sahario, and she is the owner of Sahario Financial Enterprises. Charlotte, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Hi, Jay. Hi, everybody that's watching. Well, what I provide is virtual CFO services and financial services for small businesses and businesses in general. But I like to focus more on small businesses and kind of help them navigate the whole world of their finances and how they can maximize their profits by making sure they take out all the noise of the expenses that usually are incurred by small businesses. So we also do a lot of bookkeeping. We focus mainly, my jam is financial analysis and sometimes even forensic accounting. So that's what we do on the norm every day, all day.
Okay. So what would you say that is like the major differences between your home finances and the business finances?
Well, it's every book that you might get out there about small businesses that you decide to say, yeah, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go ahead and start my business, or I'm gonna start a second business. Every book that I've read always says, well, keep it separate. And yes, you have to keep it separate. But what you do have to keep is the same mentality of making sure you monitor your expenses on both sides. Obviously, your personal finances are going to be a little bit different in the respect that you have personal costs, luxury costs, right? You at any given point you want to go to dinner, you go to dinner, and you have to pay for everything, and that's it. Once you pay for it, that's not coming back. Whereas when you have your small business, you have to make sure that you're diligent about what it is that you're spending, and that every dollar that you spend, you're going to have a return on that dollar. So what I mean is that when you go in business, you can't just say, I'm just going to take this client to the most expensive restaurant, even though at that time your expenses are not allowing you to be spending that much money on one meal. And then you think to yourself, well, I can always deduct the whole cost of the meal and of the trip. And that's not necessarily true, but that's more of a tax situation. That's like a whole entire different show for us. But there are a lot of similarities. You have to become very diligent. And there are a lot of differences. You have to be more strategic when it comes to the business, more so than you do when you're personal. Once you understand those differences, it's funny because you kind of marry that strategic planning and expensing to your personal. And it's almost like you end up maximizing. So whatever dollar profit you coming, like when you pay yourself, you're utilizing it a whole lot better. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
So is there like some advice or some tips that with people, entrepreneurs who have a side business or have, a small business, can separate their personal with business?
What I always tell my clients, and the biggest problem that I see my small business clients is that they have one account, right? Just one checking account. They go to Wells Fargo. I'm not plugging sponsorship, but they go to Wells Fargo. They open up an account. And if they go to Office Max and they need something from the business, boom, they use that. They use that debit account. If they go to Target and they got to buy eggs and milk, but then, you also have to buy paper for the printer or whatever, boom, they do it that way. And I can understand that. It's a whole lot more practical that way. But the first thing I tell them is like, hey, you need to set up a separate account. The reason being is that if you ever are audited, if you ever want to look at your financials and really get a better scope of what it is that you're spending, and if your business is profitable, you can't do that with all of the extra noise that comes from personal expenses, right? So the first tip I give them is like open up a separate account. Oh, but Shard, it's a sole proprietorship. I don't really have anything like a business account. That's fine. Go to a different bank. Nowadays there's a lot of online banking. One of the banks that I recommend a lot is Ally, because they have a higher return on savings and checkings. But I always go to Ally, open up an account, and start taking some of whatever it is that from your first income that you want to dedicate to your business, start putting it there. So that if you go to Office Max, if you go to Target, you can always tell the person, hey, this is separate, and they'll do it. Because, I've done it, like where I say the eggs, the wine, and the meats are personal, and then the paper and the ink and the pens are business, and you need to keep them separate. And you start looking at that's the first tip. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but that's the first tip I always tell my clients. Always have a separate account. The next thing that I tell them is start then separating. If you have the first income and you're thinking about having your business and you're serious about this side business that you're going to treat, and the whole point is to become profitable, start taking some money and direct depositing to that business account, right? Because if you don't see it, you don't spend it, okay? And the very first investor in your business is always going to be you. You're always the first person that put money on it. And that's your own way of saying, hey, I believe in this enough to put my own investment in it, my own stake in it, right? So when you do it with one account, in your personal account, you don't get to see the investment that you're making. And oftentimes I have a lot of business owners who said to me, I know I'm bringing in money, but I'm living paycheck to paycheck on my own. And I said, okay, well, then when you start doing the forensic accounting that I mentioned before, we start looking, okay, why is it that you pay with your personal account for this? This should have been for your business, right? And then when you pay yourself, then you got to look, am I paying myself too much because I'm spending way too much? So you adjust those payments. So that's the first step. Put things separate and then start looking at it as what it is that you're spending.
Okay. That's good to know. I officially haven't opened up a business account. That's me being honest. I haven't done it yet. Everything, it was like everybody was like, I'll just cash app, like we're a small business, and that's like shirt wise. That I am starting financial coaching. I haven't officially launched myself yet, but I want to be able to open an account for that. I guess the question is, so right now I'm just going under my name, right? Jane.
Right.
So do you open up a business account under a name like that, or should I go into, when I get business license under my name? How do you have an idea of how?
I would say start it off as your name if you haven't gotten your business license yet, right? And be very careful, particularly for you, right? As an advice, this is free advice, Jay. There you go, boom. As far as you are concerned, as soon as you get your business advice, also make sure that you invest in business insurance, almost like a errors and omissions type thing. Because when it comes to services, it's very liable, especially as a sole proprietorship, that you might get a client that might say, oh, you messed me up, right? Oh, you coached me to do this and pay that, and now I'm in more debt. And not to say that will happen, not at all, but it's my job to kind of give you a contingency plan and things like that, right? So if you're starting off now and there is going to be some investment where there is you spending money on website hosting, Linktree, memberships, you start putting that under its own account. Once you get your license, and what I would suggest is that you do an LLC, a limited liability, even if you do it through your own name, right? That way you don't have to so much register your name, your business name, but you do want to make sure that you have some sort of coverage for your personal assets, because it doesn't make sense on a personal note that you are decreasing your debt. Now you're a little bit more profitable. You feel as though you're a little bit more comfortable. You start a business and somebody else says, hey, you jacked me up. And now you have to pay whatever equity you may have on your personal end. So I would say start off with your personal name and invest as quickly as you can on creating those barriers where if something was to go wrong, boom, you're covered, right? Yeah. So start with your name first, so at least you know your expenses and you know what's coming out. Because once you get your business license and you start doing your taxes, you ever get court audited, you say, oh no, I always had a different account for my business. And once I got my business license, I associated that account with my business account.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you for the free advice.
I do what I can.
I appreciate it. All right, enough about me. Let's talk about now.
Enough about me.
So hey guys, this is gonna end up being part 1 of the segment. We were having a great conversation going back and forth and just realized that it was gonna be too long. So this is gonna be part 1. So make sure you stay tuned for part 2. Thank you guys for staying here while I interview Charlotte. She's amazing. If you are interested in working with her, all the details are below. Thank you for, if you watched the first part, excited. I wanted something different, a kind of little difference between personal finance and business finance, and have somebody on here to be able to provide you some more tips and tricks on that. I feel like that was really important. If you are enjoying my channel, please subscribe, like the video, and please share. Let's share all these tips and details that we can give to other people for free. Thanks for watching, guys.